So what is the Sharp project and the Space project all about? It's about taking hold of a piece of Manchester that perhaps was looking in on a city where there were skyscrapers, developing new businesses and new opportunities for a small and select group of people. East Manchester was the very first place to have a regeneration company. In fact, its chief executive, Eddie Smith, who has been a guiding light to me across the whole of the 5 years I've been building Sharp and Space, was chief executive of that development company, and he and a small team had a giant task, which was to take a derelict post-industrial piece of wasteland in a city and transform it. It takes 25 years to do that, but nonetheless achieved more extraordinary things, a joint venture with the Abu Dhabi government to build space outside Manchester City, new academies, new swimming pools, new schools. So what is it about Manchester City Council who take this kind of level of risk? They came to me with a proposal to say, what should we do now to help our creative economy go forward? And so I wrote what I thought would be a 10-page proposition, and that would be the end of the matter. But instead, they came to me and said, we like your proposition and we understand what you're trying to explain, that in the world of difficult economic times, with the creative industry going through transformational technological changes, that they thought their city needed to do something to house this new business. And remember, this is a time when the iPad hadn't been invented. Facebook, FaceTime just simply didn't exist. The iPhone was only a year old. And yet they were brave enough then to actually take the opportunity to read a proposition that said in this new world, several things would change. Number one, no one in the creative sector had any money, but the public purse was empty. So how could you do things cheaper and more effectively? Two, creative people like to work in a collegiate and a cooperative way, and therefore they need a different kind of physical environment in which to explain, explore, and work together up their ideas. And yet there were no places like that in Manchester. And so the proposal said this: we need to create a new physical environment in which people cooperate, collaborate, work together. And they said, here's something we'd like to show you. And this was it. You know, they say never look a gift horse in the mouth. This was a set of buildings in East Manchester that the city had bought as a strategic land purchase to protect the integrity of a very flash business park that sits behind. This site was about 250,000 square foot of a building that had been the home of the Sharp Electronics European Distribution Warehouse Scheme. So we called it the Sharp Project to start with. It stuck, we like it, there'll be more projects in the years to come. So they gave me the building and they said, how can this help drive the creative and digital sector? And I said they need to be driven a different way. So new businesses need new talent, and new talent need to understand the world of technology. So we're moving from an analog world into convergence, into digital. So it meant that no longer to make a TV program or to get a piece of content to market, you had to own a satellite dish. You could actually, in the future, I said, simply log on, load up, and transmit from things not yet invented, the iPad. We needed to actually create something to see how the new world of work would be. This is the real thing. We actually built what you've just seen on that CGI video. And it's remarkable to look back today to see how actually somewhere now where we have 60 companies with 600 people, which turns over millions of pounds a year and has completely transformed this part of East Manchester. The Sharp project was built around this thought that space with power and connectivity will be critical in this new age where everything was converged with digital technologies. So the Sharp project was set up to be a place of collaboration and cooperation, real businesses making real money, but sometimes recognizing that coming together in partnership meant that they could aim for bigger fish, bigger clients, make a bigger smash into the pool, but still encouraging business competition even through that collaboration. Secondly, the lines between content makers from drama to gaming were blurring. So from drama to gaming to web design to apps, all would merge them together. So we needed all those players in one space, which was the Sharp project. Probably the best bit, and the bit that sums up the Sharp project in a very unique way, was we wanted to create a different way of working and therefore a unique working environment for those digital startups. And we based on the legend that both Google and Apple were created in a double garage in California. We thought we needed that kind of environment. So we decided to have our own version. And it is these shipping containers. We made them into a very, very desirable office design. And then we put them inside the main warehouse, flanking both sides of our main high street. We call that the avenue of opportunity. Virtually overnight, we created a huge demand for shipping containers, with even today, they're full, and we have a waiting list. So when our clients came in, our tenants, those sharpenistas, we gently encouraged those first footers to work together, to buy from each other, to utilise all of the skills we lured into the Sharp project. And to make sure that was effective, we selected every single client and tenant that came in. So within a year, 92% of our tenants experienced increased turnover, 89% had increased their productivity, and 85% had developed new products and services since arriving at the Sharp project. 75% of the tenants in the survey had created new jobs, and we, as a collective, had added £21.4 million to the regional economy. The project cost just over £10 million to build. There are now 600 people working there, employing other people, paying rent, paying tax, driving forward the Manchester agenda.